Hola, soy Julio César Chávez.
And lights out, baby. Lights out all day.
This is Sugar Ray Leonard, and you listen to Fight Net Radio.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a one-hour television spectacular.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
We gon' know. I got eyes and ears everywhere. I got friends all over the world, man.
Who gives a shit with White? He's a piece of crap.
With a tear in my eye.
Hey, Miguel Antonio Barragan. Follow us all on social media at fight.net.radio, at FightFiendMigs, at Lee Honish, and at Andrew Lapache. It's got a P, a C, and the chemical sign for boron in it. And if you can find them, you did a good job. There you go. Follow at FightFiendMigs on both YouTube and Instagram. Last week, he did his 97-part documentary on the Klitschko's, which is being recut by Zack Snyder into a major motion picture. This week, he is actually doing a complete retrospective history with interviews on Marvin Hagler. So you want to check that out. That's just what a get. What a get. Around the table, I start with you, Andrew Labouche. How are you?
Everything is good, Lee.
Deep insight. Miguel Antonio Barragan.
Things are good. Things are good so far. Looking forward to my second, vaccine shot, which I got in about a couple of weeks, actually a week and a half. So, thankfully no side effects of the first one yet, but, seeing how the second one's going to react. Supposedly the second one is worse. So a little timid, but fuck it. It's already scheduled. Time to get it done.
I got my first shot on Friday. And I've talked about it on the show. I've been hit by many people in many various parts of my body. The hardest arm shot that I've ever received was by none other than Elena Maxwell, friend of the show and former professional fighter. She hit me once in the arm at an event, I think at UNLV, and I thought somebody hit me with a baseball bat in the arm. The COVID shot actually hurt me more in the arm. That's all it did. It just hurt my arm, and that was it. Weird. There you guys go. You guys are all caught up. Let's talk boxing, and there's a lot to talk about. First and foremost, quickly, for those of you who don't know, the UFC was last night. Andrew, did you watch UFC? Could you not?
No, sir.
What? Francis?
No, I didn't even know that guy. I didn't even know who was fighting. I heard you guys talk about it over the messages, but I didn't even know who was fighting. I seen it got a lot of hits on their ESPN update, though. There was like 24,000 likes on it, so it was a big fight. But no, I didn't know it was happening.
All right. Well, let's go with the easy one. Woodley was retired last night. For those of you that watch him on TMZ,
ooh,
Tyrone.
That's a shot blast from the past.
Woodley got it's got to be, right, Miguel? Like, he's done.
Hey, that's Tyrone Woodley, right? That was
his
first name?
The chosen one.
I know him. Yeah.
TMZ reporter, Tyrone Woodley. I believe that he officially got retired last night. This would be his fourth consecutive loss, if I've got the math right. Third or fourth?
Fourth, yes.
Fourth. He's done.
Mm-hmm.
He's done.
Yeah, he's done. I think 2 of his last 3 losses were like dominant decision losses to where, for those of you who know anything about mixed martial arts, 10-8 rounds are extremely rare, and he's had like 2, losing 2. So he's just been dominated like a motherfucker. Yes. And then on top of that,
last night.
I mean, all credit to him. He did finally come out, guns blazing, which he had not done in the past 3 fights. He came out aggressive, trying to get the job done, and of course it backfired, and he got stuck, and then he got hurt, stunned, and then while stunned, he got stuck in a Darce choke. So it's unfortunate, but there's his 4th loss. I mean, he's pretty adamant that it's not over yet, but it should be over at this point. It's gone.
And in the main event of the evening, 5 rounds in the UFC heavyweight division, Francis Ngannou finally breaks through, defeating Stipe Miocic in what I can only describe as the utter destruction of Stipe Miocic. This is nothing like the first fight. For those of you who saw the first fight, this was all about Francis Ngannou being a blue belt now, I guess, in wrestling and jiu-jitsu, because that's all it takes for a monster that size, much like Brock Lesnar. And learns a sprawl. This whole fight is based on a sprawl, in my humble opinion. Once he hit that sprawl, that was the end of the fight. And that is the entire game plan of Miocic out. And then he got KTFO'd by one of the more devastating shots that I've seen in a heavyweight fight. Miguel, give me a quick sum up.
Well, it was dominant. It was pretty obvious that Miocic's his strategy was to take the fight into the later rounds. That's what he did in the first fight, and he got Ngannou kind of tired in that first fight, which ultimately led to the unanimous decision victory for him in the first fight. It looked like that was the case here. He was kind of taking it calm. He wasn't trying to exchange or get involved in heavy exchanges early on. And Ngannou was like, "No, we're not going to have none of that. You better believe I'm going to exchange." So he went out and went gun blazing, but he was very patient. He stunned Miocic in the first round and didn't go in for the kill, didn't have that adrenaline dump, and he waited until the second round and he caught him again and then went in for the kill at that point. So it was pretty dominant, actually. It just kind of felt like Stipe wasn't able to get off or was waiting to get his offense off, and then basically Ngannou never let him because he TKO'd him. And then and the funny thing, it was actually the left hand that KO'd Stipe, and then Ngannou came in with a right hammer fist, basically. So that right hammer fist probably could have saved him some. Probably didn't have to happen if the referee was able to get in there beforehand. But anyway, we have ourselves a new heavyweight champ, and currently the third African UFC champion.
There you go. Andrew, where'd you go? I saw it said Andrew left. Did he just hit me his microphone?
Did he? Probably. I don't know.
I don't know. Did he leave the room? I feel like we should talk quietly about Andrew at this moment. Ourselves. I was going to give Andrew a moment to shine, and Andrew's the first to talk about the appropriate defense to a rear naked choke, to a Darce choke.
And you know what? Stipe's fucking hands were low, dude. Because for those of you who did watch the fight, Stipe got stunned. Ngannou caught him, and then right as he was coming in for the kill, Stipe threw a right hand that momentarily stopped Ngannou, and then it's like, whoa, what the hell? And then at that point, it looked like Stipe thought he might have gotten Ngannou kind of hurt, and then he came in and with his hands hella low, and he got caught with a check hook basically, and that's what dropped him. But man, the way he crumbled, dude, under the leg, it was very Crow Cop-ish when he got knocked out. It was very one of those kinds of KOs. But I don't know if there's going to be a trilogy. It would be nice, but we know that from the talk, it's already probably the plans are set in motion for a future John Jones and Ngannou heavyweight title fight. So that's probably what's happening, as opposed to a trilogy with Stipe.
There you go. Andrew's still gone. Should we continue the show without him?
Well, you want to give him a text? Give him a shout?
No, I don't. No, you might have went to go get coffee.
He'll come back. Yeah, probably he'll come back, right? I assume.
I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. I feel kind of bad that he left. All right, shamelessly right here, I'm going to insert a plug for Just Frank and Killian. Go to justfrankandkillian.com. Watch the latest episode. Click on full episodes. It'll take you over to the YouTube page. You can, it's broken down by individual sections, or just click on the video. Watch the newest one. My personal recommendation, the Irish Olympics, where you can see me fuck up my leg pretty tremendously. And the funeral for Killian. We actually killed Killian in the Irish. Did I play the crash last week?
You played how you RKO'd yourself trying to get into the...
I RKO'd myself.
Yeah.
Wait.
I got
now
that
that
part.
I actually have a way to do this. Let's see if I can... Oh. We actually have sound. Here it comes.
Yes. Out of nowhere!
Is it better than last week?
It was. With sound effects, it was.
One more time. I'm going to do my very best here. Final time. And... Better with the sound effects, right?
Much better. And the Halloween music.
I thought that was a nice touch myself. Go to justfrankandkillian.com. Check out the latest shows and watch the funeral for Killian. Are you back, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, calm down. We'll get to the stories. Jeez. Andrew, you missed out on your moment. I was going to ask you, what is the street hood rat version of getting out of a rear naked choke, a darce, or an armbar? What's the secret go-to move?
I don't know.
We talked about it on the show, Andrew.
If they're trying to kill you, I mean, you do whatever it takes. This is a street fight. It's not a UFC match with rules. So that really isn't hard to get out of, I think, in the street if you're eye gouging, I seen a man crush a dude's nuts one time on the UFC.
There we go.
He got out of his arm bar. No, I'm dead serious. He punched him in the nuts like fucking 7 times. Guess what? Dude released the arm. He didn't break it. So I think on the street, it's a lot different than on the mat. Like I said, fighting for your life, I understand the techniques, but with rules, makes it a little bit easier to put on an arm bar or naked rear chokehold. Just me saying, Lee. Just my opinion.
Well, that's why that's why I asked you. Or
that's why there's rules in the UFC, correct? I mean, everyone said.
Well,
that
yes, they got rid of eye gouging.
We're the very first ones that said that's why they were putting rules in the UFC. Because they knew there were certain styles that would dominate.
Well, they knew that most of them were just like, they wanted to make it as close to a street fight as possible, so they didn't have hand wraps or anything. But I mean, eventually they did start, adding the no hair pulling, the no eye gouging, the no groin shots, the no biting, which was one dude straight up tried to like throw a dude over the cage, like outside of the cage. Like, all right, no more of that. So, but I mean, yes, it wasn't an effort to make it a legitimate sport and not, fucking human cockfighting.
At the same time, holding the standard of this is a street fight. There's nothing else like this.
Closest thing to a street fight. Closest thing to the street fight, basically.
Closest thing, but not because in the street fight, if someone was choking your life out, you'd probably rip their fucking eyeball out, right? You would react to the situation that you're in. So, and another thing I never liked about this sport, I've said this many times, they will punch a man and hope they disconnect his brain from his life, right? Knock him fucking unconscious. But then yet when they have an arm bar, they don't break that motherfucking arm. They don't snap that leg. Like, why wouldn't they just snap? I don't get that part.
They tap out before. What do you mean?
Lift the hand, it drops. Lift the hand, it drops. That's what the rear naked choke is to me. But you guys keep.
No, you did good, Andrew. I always like getting your UFC feedback. Actually, when we discussed this,
Dan Henderson jumped 6 feet in the air and land a punch on a man's head that was already on the canvas. He didn't care about his life. But yet, when they get a rear naked choke, they're like, or not that. I don't want you to snap a fucking neck, people. But when you get an arm bar, you don't snap that shit, or an ankle lock or something. Why? You're trying to knock his ass out? That ain't deadly? Okay.
I was hoping for your famous previous comments, which was finger in the butthole, but we didn't get that today. But
hey, there's video. There's video.
Yep.
Finger in the booty. Moving forward.
Hey, it's a pit bull off a lockjaw, Lee. If you ever have a lockjaw, stick your finger in the dog's ass.
Wow. Moving forward, this show is about boxing. Welcome to Fight Net Radio. We do cover the news, and here's how we cover it. We start where we left off, and we move forward. Let's talk about Valdez Lomachenko. So, according to Frank Espinoza, the man who handles the career of Valdez, he said the Lomachenko rumors are false. There's no truth to it. And I don't know where the rumor came from. We haven't negotiated it. We haven't even talked about the possibility of such a fight. Nobody has called me. It's just rumors. Am I wrong? Was this like a hot hopping thing? I'll start with you, Andrew. Was this being passed around as a done deal?
No, and I actually, maybe I've been disconnected from the internet for a while, but I didn't even see this rumor get started. If you go to
feel like they're starting the rumor with this article.
It could be because I Miguel, maybe you've seen different, but I did not see this cross my feed. This is the first of me hearing about this.
I have not heard about it either. Actually,
right.
This is news to me.
Yeah, there you go.
Which makes me believe that this is their way of starting the idea of this fight. Which,
and even knowing us three, someone would have sent that text, right? Mm-hmm. If this was a breaking news, yeah. So fuck that story.
What? You're not going to break their rumor for them? By the way, here's Lee's fun fact about media. When you don't have somebody talking about you, create an article where you go, I don't know why everybody's talking about me fighting this guy.
There you go.
Yeah. I may or may not have used that a few times for Fight Net Radio. I don't know why everybody says I'm so controversial. Now you're controversial. Congratulations. Moving forward, that takes us to the Holyfield camp. Yes, you guessed it. Holyfield camp says Tyson rejected $25 million. Representative of Evander Holyfield expressed frustration after Mike Tyson's representative refused $25 million for Tyson Holyfield 3 at the Hard Rock Stadium. I was actually lucky enough to get a soundbite from Mike Tyson for this.
I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
There you go. Wow, we have sound drops now using this particular format.
Oh.
I start with you, Miguel Antonio Barragan. Buy it, not buy it, or am I looking at another fake story? Somebody's fishing to get Mike Tyson to sign a contract.
Well, it's tough to say. I mean, if I was Tyson, I would understand why I wouldn't want a third fight with Holyfield. He whooped his ass twice. Even now, he still whoop his ass, I think. But I mean, for 25 mil for kind of an exhibition fight, which will most likely not even throw it to the head, it'll be just a body shot. It'll be pretty much what we saw with Tyson and Roy Jones. 25 million for that? You best believe I'd do that shit. So is this real? I don't know. I'm kind of hesitant to say it's legit. I think it's fake because I don't think Tyson would reject 25 million for an exhibition fight with Holyfield. I think it's fake.
Andrew Labouche, Mike Tyson had this to say.
Mike, were you really sick this week? What was the problem?
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What part? A vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
Mike, were you really sick?
Sorry, that's the best line ever. Andrew Labouche, am I reading another false story? Or did Mike Tyson?
Yeah, no, look. Yeah, I got to be on with Miguel here that this is a fake story. He rejected it, and then like the next day he came out and said he's accepted it. The fight's gonna happen. Don't worry about it. He kept talking about they didn't need promoters. So I don't know what that had to do. Maybe there's a promoter involved in Holyfield's side that was getting on Mike's nerves or something. Mike tried to do a power move, but ultimately at the end he accepted. It looks like he accepted this fight and that they're gonna move forward. 25 million, a lot of money for a 54-year-old. I believe he's 54 now. Also, I'm with Miguel, and this is a dangerous fight if it's not a fixed fight all the way. Holyfield, he beats Mike Tyson again. This is like his third time he's killed his career. So it's this is real. There's a lot on the line here for Mike, but that's if Holyfield hasn't given in. This is a guy that's had financial problems at the end of his career also. So, maybe him and Mike just worked out a deal over the golf course, over a golf game or something on how this is going to play out.
Does anybody else think it's Triller? Is this Triller hard at work?
Oh, Triller, yeah. Triller's faster than they made it, though. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
25 million. Damn.
I'm enjoying
this.
Yeah,
25 million here, 6 million for the Lopez fight. That's what are you looking? 31 million already they spent. They only made 80 million for the pay-per-view, and that's before taxes and everyone else took their cut. So, and I know the news is going to drop here on this show here a little bit later, but it looks like they're diving into their bank again.
What is Triller, by the way? Is it like another streaming like Netflix, or what the hell do they stream first and foremost?
I've been, I can't tell.
I don't know. Is
literally,
it sports or is it just movies? Like what the fuck?
I've
never heard of them.
Triller,
I hope it has something to do with boxing because they're dipping into the boxing a lot, and it's not, it's not like they're all, we want to stream movies. Let's go get some major fights. I don't know. I guess they got a lot of views on the Tyson one. Who knows? Maybe they are using that, but I think it would have to do a little bit more with sports if they're into boxing.
I'm sure they're just waiting to sign Akak and Barakak, Crackass and whatever the fuck they. I get it. I don't know what they are. Are they DAZN? What?
Yeah, I have no freaking clue. Look at what.
I don't
what the
know. I'm
hell-
liking this already. I'm gonna wear this without.
Keep cutting. Oh, okay.
What? Yeah. Well. Yeah.
I'm not
What?
sure what's going on here.
What? I want to see the vagina.
Well, you can see it from here, just not
Lame. Triller's lame. Moving
Already.
forward. If you have not seen the video, please go check out the video at fight.net.radio. Ortiz Hooker was a hit at the box office. According to Oscar De La Hoya, who has nobody left to promote, last Saturday's Ortiz versus Hooker event was a complete success. Why? Because Oscar said so. How did he come to that conclusion? Well, they sold all 5,000 tickets of the 60,000 seat Dick Arena. So, therefore, it was a success. We had a full house. I mean, the tickets were like $100, $200, $60. Like, I'm amazed we sold 5,000 tickets, said Oscar. Wow. How times it wait? Let's just stop right there. I almost want to read this verbatim, but let's just stop right there. 5,000 tickets with a max price of $200. If this fight were in Vegas, it would still be $1,500 to sit ringside back in the day for even this fight. Okay, would we all agree that a prime seat or would have been 15 bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seriously, Lee, boxing is missing not only Las Vegas's money but HBO's money. HBO had like a $20 million budget, something like that, for boxing, and they were able to do that with the smaller fights while putting the bigger ones on pay-per-view. And that was a great model for our sport. It allowed a fight like that to get $5 million with the HBO and the casinos buying the fight outright. We're missing that big time.
Well, I mean, if this were the day in Vegas and you're telling me that the best seats are now $200 and they're available, I would pay for more fights. I mean, to be perfectly honest, $200 for I'll ask you, Miguel, what'd you pay for your fight?
Well, I mean, keep in mind I did get the nosebleeds, but it was like $60. It was like 65 and change or something like that, plus tax or whatever. But yeah, it wasn't bad at all. I mean, like the guy was trying to sell me two because because of social distancing, they kind of had sets of 4 seats or 2 seats, and they wouldn't sell them individually. So I was like, oh shit, okay. So the guy was like, we have these 2 seats up close here, $200, but there's 200. I mean, there's 2 seats, so you got to buy both. I was like, what? Nah, it's cool. So I ended up buying like the cheaper ones that were, nosebleeds, but I did get as close as I possibly could, considering, I paid for $60 some odd, but still not a bad price.
There you go. Moving forward, and Oscar's delusional. It was a hit, dude. It was 5,000 seats, dude. You could literally like rub one out for a room full of people, and you could have gotten more than $200 a seat for that. But Oscar lives in that fantasy land that he's still got Golden Boy, but we'll find out what he's up to later on. Ruiz Areola undercard has been announced. I don't really give 2 flying fucks about the undercard. What I found fascinating about this is the bottom line of the article. This pay-per-view, will be $50. All right. We live in an age where Oscar's excited about $200 seats and selling $5,000 seats in literally a 60,000 seat arena. And so the delusional ones over at PBC believe that Ruiz Areola is worth $50, and they're going to load it up with Omar Figueroa against a nobody. The Towering Inferno, Sebastian Fondura, taking on a nobody. And they're going to have an opener with their unbeaten Jesus Ramos. That's right, you've never heard of him, but he is the nephew of Abel Ramos. Ooh, big deal. So I'm not even getting a decent fight card for my $50. I think it would be cheaper for me to go see it live. I could be completely. I think it's going to be at the Stub. The mental health facility.
Dignity Health.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Which means no crowd. I start with you, Andrew Labusche. Are you plunking down $50, or are we on VIPfrontrow.net?
Yeah, no, I probably will not be buying this pay-per-view, and not because I don't like Andy. I like Andy Ruiz. This opponent is not worthy of that kind of money. This undercard's not worthy of it, and really, Ruiz is gonna have to rely on almost, I want to say Texas on buying this. I believe Omar Figueroa stays in Texas. They have a big boxing community out there. I don't see California, Southern California buying into Areola anymore at this price. I think they've moved on from him. They're really boxing not as high in Southern California as it once was. We've seen attendances drop in recent years out there. So I know they have this fantasy that this is like all the Mexicans are going to show up for this fight. This is a big Mexican heavyweight fight. Ariola's been out of the spotlight for so long. When he was in big fights, he never showed up. He was always out of shape. They're really relying on Andy Ruiz's star power here, and we'll see how it goes. I will say he looks good in the gym, in a gym that we've already talked about on this podcast that is putting out a lot of fighters that are in great shape. It looks like Andy Ruiz's name will be attached to that list. I don't know if you guys have seen his last workout videos, but it looks like his legs have made a major transformation from where they used to be.
Miguel Antonio Barragan.
As much as I'm a fan of Ruiz, and I am, I always like to support the Latino of Mexican descent families and fighters. But $50 really to fight Arreola. I wouldn't be. It would be a pretty decent fight. We seen Arreola his last fight with, I think it was Adam Kawasaki. I think his name is. That was a pretty fun scrap, So he's got something left in the tank still to put on somewhat of a decent performance. But we know that this is a keep me busy / build my confidence back up fight for Ruiz. To put this on pay-per-view, really they couldn't have put it somewhere else. And then with this undercard of fucking Omar Figueroa, which when the hell was the last time that Omar fought? It's been a good minute. Like all the attention is on his younger brother, the Heartbreaker, whatever the hell his name is, the other Figueroa. And they're gonna put it with a bunch of young prospects. I get it, with Fundora on the undercard. But come on, $50 for really no VIP for me. Thank you.
Is it Showtime pay-per-view or is it?
I don't know. Who the hell?
I'm looking it up right now. So let's see.
Most likely PBC, you guys. That's both are PBC fighters. So it's Omar.
Are they putting it on themselves?
Yeah, these are PPC guys. Fundora is PPC.
Are they getting Jimmy Lennon? Do I even get my? It's Showtime. What is Jimmy Lennon doing during all this? Is he just retired?
And one thing I gotta respond with the previous fight. Kawanaki and Arreola are nowhere near what should be what Andy Ruiz is to the heavyweight division. So Andy should take out Arreola easily in this fight. Arreola has really never been dedicated to this sport
or trained.
And they've seen the training, the eating. There's been many photos of him eating just outrageous things in the middle, out in public,
He just collects paychecks.
Andy Ruiz, too, I guess, on a certain level. He has, too. But in recent months, now that he's with Canelo's team, the Reynosos, it seems that he's taken the sport a lot. He's dedicated himself a lot more to training, and it's showing in the last few photos, at least on his leg work. So no, this fight should be a 3-round, maybe if he wants to stretch it 5. If it goes any more than 5, Andrew Ruiz starts looking like a hype job. Seriously,
but Arreola's pretty durable, isn't it? Like, don't you think it's enough to last at least maybe? What is this, a 12-rounder, or are they going to do a 10-rounder?
I think he was durable about 3 years ago. 5. He was durable when he was losing to the main guys. That's when he was durable. Right now, today, I don't know who Arreola is. So no, going up because bro, I'm talking about Andrew Ruiz supposed to be top 5. Yeah. Arreola's not top 10. I don't know if he's top 12. So no, I hope Andy Ruiz takes out Arreola fast, makes him look special, and move on with your career. Please don't let this be a barn burner. That's no good.
There you go. Moving forward. Cunningham replaces Tarver. Remember that fight that's happening for like 5 people at the Superdome that we talked about by Triller Entertainment? Well, one of the things that I was kind of interested in was Antonio Tarver. Well, apparently Antonio Tarver is not going to make the event. Triller Fight announced today, or March 24th, that IBF Cruiserweight title holder Steve Cunningham will replace Antonio Tarver at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium for 5 people. The 44-year-old champion last fought in 2017. YouTuber Jake Paul will take on former Bellator and ONE FC champion Ben Askren in the main event. That event will be $50. Again, go to VIPfrontrow.net. No explanation on why Tarver isn't going. I'm really starting to believe that they just fish names. Like, yeah, Tarver said he'd be into it, but we don't have a contract, so let's put his name on a piece of paper and see if we can get him to do it. Kind of like
that might have happened. But if you go to Tarver's Facebook page, he was posting about himself training for the Triller Fight Club on March 23rd. And I had seen him. I follow him. I had seen him posting about this fight numerous times, and as of now, he hasn't posted the reason why he's not on the card. So he kind of went silent on his Facebook, and he is pretty active on his Facebook page. So there is a reason. He'll have an explanation here soon. Tarver's not a quiet one, if you would say. He's going to say why he pulled himself out.
I actually, when I read this, so for those of you who don't know, Tarver actually does like color commentating for like bare knuckle boxing or bare knuckle fighting. So when I read this, I actually thought that's what they're referring to. I thought he was going to be like replacing Tarver on the fucking commentary, but I didn't know he was actually replacing him in the fight itself. Definitely a more dangerous fight for Mir, a guy who, I mean, I don't know how much younger Steve Cunningham is. I know he's younger. Dude's a bad motherfucker, and he looks like a damn monster because he's so goddamn ripped. So I've seen him fight plenty of times, you know. I think even more of a dangerous fight for Frank Mir, but I mean, I'm still not paying $50 for this thing, but yeah, it's kind of, you know, I'll tune in. I'm not paying for it, but I'll tune in.
Again, check out our sponsor, VIPfrontrow.net. Oh, what, Andrew?
I was going to say definitely a drop down from Tarver, though. Steve Cunningham, a good fighter, dedicated, obviously, to the sport.
Is it the same Steve Cunningham?
Yeah, USS.
Yeah, that dropped.
Yeah.
That dropped.
Now I just realized who it was once you said it. I'm like,
yeah. He dropped Tyson Fury. I don't know
That's
if he did one time, but he's got some pop. He's got some pop. I think he's more, I mean, obviously because of his youth. I'm not sure what the age difference is between Cunningham and Tarver, but I mean, I assume that Cunningham is younger because he's been, you know, active recently. So I think it's more of a dangerous fight for Mir. It's not gonna, if it was at any point somewhat even because of age between Tarver and Mir, it's now one-sided for Cunningham.
And then not only that, because of his military background, does he have any other background in combat sports, right? I mean, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, something like that. He might have taken up in martial arts, so, or in the military, excuse me. So that there's also that side of it for Cunningham too.
Mm-hmm.
Moving forward. WBC orders Kingery versus Fortuna. The only reason I bring this up is because I like it when the WBC actually mandates a fight, because they don't normally mandate a fight. After careful consideration and countless communications with all parties involved, the WBC has confirmed the course of action for lightweight division. Ryan Garcia won the WBC interim title and mandatory position. Javier Fortuna had a signed contract to face Jorge Linares, which COVID prevented from happening, and also earned a mandatory position. The WBC is hereby ordering Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna for the WBC Interim Lightweight Championship and mandatory position in the division. The free negotiation period has begun, and if no agreement is reached, the purse will go out for a bid. All right, let's talk about it. Ryan Garcia is making waves and getting a shot without... Has he beat anyone in the top 10? I start with you, Miguel Antonio Barragan. Has he beat a top 10 guy, or did I miss this?
Well, I think Campbell was the only person that if I recall correctly, literally his last fight where he got dropped himself. But, I mean, other than that, no. I'd say no.
So he's the number one mandatory guy for the WBC. Gotta love the WBC. Fuck.
Campbell was ranked high. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's a good fight too. It would be him versus Haney. Is that the?
Yeah, if he wins, yeah. I mean, when I don't think that's going to happen this year, but should he get past Fortuna, as long as Haney still has the belt, because I think, well, I don't know if we'll talk about it later, but Haney himself has a title fight coming up. So as long as they both win, we're looking at a collision course.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this setup. It's not like he's getting Haney right off the top. He has to go through someone first, and he just beat Luke Campbell, who is, pretty high ranked in the lightweights. He did good fights with both Leonardis and Lomachenko, and then he dropped Garcia only to get stopped a little bit later. So I don't mind this setup at all.
Yeah, this is going to be a good test too, because I mean, like Fortuna's experienced, 36 wins, 25 KOs. He's a Dominican fighter, and generally those guys, the Cubans, the Puerto Ricans, they have good amateur pedigrees. This is going to be a tough test. I mean, I don't know if it's tougher than Luke. Less of a name, of course, not as popular as Luke, because we kind of all knew who Luke Campbell was. But this is going to be a pretty solid fight. I'm down for this one.
And another southpaw. So
yes,
that's tricky for a younger fighter too. And this southpaw is a boxer. He's sneaky. So yeah, this is a good test and a good setup for his first title run. Too bad he's got to be against another up and comer like Haney. Most time you don't see stuff like that. Two potential stars meeting so early, but that's what the road has for him on this one.
Moving forward. Serrano KOs Bermudez in 9. The reason I bring up this article is, yet again, another female completely undefeated who, in Amanda Serrano, they're calling her the best pound for pound. Is it just me, or do I just feel sorry for women's boxing in general? I just feel that way, Miguel. Here's a chick who's got 40 fights. I guarantee she's not making as much as Ben Askren in his fight at the Superdome. What am I missing here?
Didn't she go MMA too?
Yeah, yes. She did. I think she had 1 or 2 fights with Combate Americas, which is like a small-time MMA organization.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, she's also like what is it, 4 or 6 division champ or something like that. Seven
right? Division world champion.
Yes.
Yeah.
God damn. And nobody knows her name. Nobody. She'd make more money taking her top off. I'll say it again. I will say it again.
Fans only, you're saying, is it fans only or Playboy, Lee? Which one? What are you talking about here?
It doesn't matter. Playboy. I think they should do an all-women's boxing edition. Certainly not that chick she fought. I mean, what? She's pretty skanky, but yeah, it'd be a great issue. All right, moving forward. Canelo Sanders sold 40,000 tickets during pre-sale. Get ready for the biggest COVID spreader party put on by Oscar De La Hoya and Matchroom and everybody else. This is it.
You hurt De La Hoya's feelings. You really say you can't attach De La Hoya to Canelo anymore? Make him cry.
Fair enough. He'll be there. I'm sure he'll be there with the sign, Canelo, baby, come back.
He'll have the radio. He'll have the stereo playing that
He'll do the stereo over his head.
Yes.
Just say anything.
Exactly.
Canelo Sanders, 40,000 tickets sold. Matchroom Boxing is putting on a super spreader event. That's right, a super spreader event. All remaining tickets went on sale to the general public between Canelo Alvarez and Sanders. They're doing it in AT&T Stadium. It's 100,000 seat venue, so they're doing 40,000 seats. So that's about 30% with the capacity. So they sold out their 30%, basically. I start with you, Andrew. Are you surprised that they sold this many tickets?
No. I think everyone's got an itch to hit the events again. So no, I think when everything starts opening up, you're gonna see a lot of sellouts, a lot of activity out there, Lee. So no, I'm not surprised at this at all.
Miguel Antonio Barragan.
Yeah, I second that. Definitely not surprised. We're all itching to just get out the house already. We all are, including myself. When I saw some of this, I was like, for those of you who know, I did recently drive to Dallas for Estrada and Chocolatito 2. So I was like, well, when's my next trip coming up? Thinking about what fights I can go to that I can, drive out to or fly out to. And I was like, let me wait on this one. I don't know if I want to be in a big ass fucking stadium with 40,000 or however many more thousand people, but I was like, let me not be the hero. Let me wait this out a little bit, and let's see what happens after some of these fights, because there's going to be a UFC card in Texas as well that will have a full stadium. I'm sure everybody with their masks, I assume, but I figured let me just hold off on that. But yeah, we all got the itch, so it isn't really a surprise that this many tickets have already sold.
Andrew, why do we never assume about Texas?
I don't know. Where are you going with that, Lee?
Miguel, finish the sentence. Why do we never assume about Texas?
Because it makes an ass out of us?
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh,
Makes an ass out
I
of you.
can say the same about Florida as well. The real big baby. Why am I bringing up his name? Because I like talking about the other big baby who took so many steroids that he'll never find a career. The real big baby, or as I like to call it, bait, put on by Bob Arum. Unbeaten heavyweight Jared Big Baby Anderson, who's 8-0 with 8 KOs, who knocked out 5 opponents at the MGM bubble, will take on, yet again, nobody. I'm fascinated with this. Bob is still building up heavyweights, right? And so is now, and we're going to talk about this shortly. This is the reason I brought up this story. So Bob's got Tyson Fury. Eddie Hearn has Anthony Joshua, and they're still building a stable of heavyweights for their guys to have tune-ups fights with. How long before real big baby gets beat up by Tyson Fury? I start with you, Miguel.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it'll ever happen. By the time Anderson gets to the point where he's ready for a title shot, I wouldn't be surprised if Fury's already out of the picture and retired or whatnot. So I think it's I get the impression this is just Bob's way of saying, like, all right, this is the next wave of heavyweights. Let me start with this guy, because by the time he gets to the big time, I think Fury and AJ will be out of the picture, and even Wilder for that matter. So I think, he's like, well, there's going to be none left after these guys, are gone. So he's trying to build up this heavyweight stable here, and in particular, putting the spotlight on Jared Anderson. So it's not going to happen. I don't think he'll ever get a crack at any one of those. By the time he becomes champ, it's going to be at a title that's vacant.
Andrew Lapachet, is he building a stable or is he building bait?
No, I'm with Miguel again on this one. I don't know if this fight will ever, if they'll ever meet because of the timetable between the two fighters. Now that when you said it, Miguel, it actually sounds really sad for the heavyweight division.
This guy left.
Yeah, I mean, Wilder, even though, Wilder's skills, I've never liked him, he's still a character for the division. Take him out in some weaker place. You take all three of them out. It's like, ooh, really? Jared is our future? I don't know what the thing is, what Bob Arum has for Anderson. I really haven't seen it in any of the fights that they've showcased him in. Speed, everything just seems average to me. There's nothing. I haven't seen anything that makes you say, yeah, this guy's the next big deal. Now, that's not saying it can't be developed. He has power, obviously, right? He just, I don't know. I just don't see anything special, anything like an Iron Mike or Evander Holyfield or anything of like this. So I don't know what Top Rank's doing with them right now. It could just be a wait and see kind of project with him where he's winning. There's some interest in him with ESPN. Obviously likes this guy. If you ever see him on his fights, they praise him like he was the next big thing coming out of the Olympics. And so maybe it's just ESPN is giving Bob money, and Bob's going to continue to bait them with this heavyweight until until, like Miguel says, they bring up the opposition, and then we see who he really is. Where in that case, I don't see him going too far when they raise the opposition, because I don't see anything special on a showcase, and you're supposed to be special, Lee, when they're showcasing you on these fights at 8 and freaking 0.
There you go.
And on that note, that dude. Oh shit! You just switched it back.
No, go ahead.
Record. This guy's record isn't bad. 16-2. I mean, 6 KOs. No KO power from what I can tell here, but it seems like he's got a winning record. That's good, right? I mean, against who? We don't know. Yes. But decent record. It seems like a next logical step up. A guy who's durable is probably going to give him. I'm not sure if they mentioned in this fight if it's a 8-rounder or a 10-rounder. I assume it's an 8-rounder or something like that. But I mean, a guy who's going to give him rounds. Probably the first guy that Anderson might not KO. So this is the next logical step. So we'll see how he looks in this upcoming fight here to see if anything, if there are any little flashes of special.
There you go. Moving forward, which takes us to the Superfly tournament. All right. So the WBC, in an attempt to make their flyweights special, have decided to have a flyweight tournament. The WBC has received a request, which are, number one, the WBC Super Flyweight World Champion Juan Francisco Estrada has requested to be designated franchise boxer of the division. I'm just putting it out there right now. Lee Honish of Fight Net Radio would like to be the flyweight champion designation over the division
Trying to
as well.
or-
Why not?
But for the year.
Can is this a thing? I start with you, Miguel. Let's just start with item one. Is this a thing? You can just put it out there. I want to be the franchise boxer.
Yeah, but I mean, the way they worded it, he has requested. I mean, I'm not sure if Estrada even knows what the fuck a damn, franchise champion is. It's just like, oh, this sounds cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and fill out the paperwork. I mean, I don't know what the hell that is. I mean, I've heard of it, right? It's just like the rules behind it, the special belts that you get. I don't know, but I was unaware that this is something you can just like submit a request for, like they're asking for fucking fight credentials.
Well,
Andrew?
it all matters. Listen, he could be doing this because of what I said earlier about the move up for the big money fight. The biggest fight of his career is going to be Inoue. So if you get a franchise tag and he is defeated by Inoue, can't he come back and still be the champion at this division?
Can he not do that without the tag of franchise?
There could be a mandatory that he would have to pay off. This way they don't have to pay him off. He just comes back and fights the regular champ for the title.
Oh, man. I think they're just making up the rules as they go. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, no, and I definitely am. But that is what that is what a franchise tag is, right? They just they get to come back and fight whoever's champ. No warm up fight, no nothing.
Oh yeah, that's right. They get a crack at the champ right off the bat. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so this easily could be for him to not get any problems, court dates or anything. So with some mandatory saying, hey, I want my shot, you can't fight in a way. You just give up that rank, have the other two guys fight for a regular title. You're a franchise guy, you move up and fight the big fight. It's the best move for Estrada. It's the best move for boxing. Listen, fuck this tournament. Lee, I'm sorry. There was never a tournament before the middleweight tournament. I'm sorry I ever made the idea. These fucktards are trying to secure a big-time fighter with all these WBC dates so they can get all the money, right? It's like they're like setting, okay, the super flyweights in 2021 are going to give us this much money because we already secured 3 fights in this tournament. Fuck that. So no, I don't want them to do a tournament. I'm not interested in any of the guys that Estrada has around him anymore. He beat them all. Let's move on.
Wow.
And I don't mean in the show. I mean Estrada in his.
It's like next subject, please.
I don't call shots like that. You guys know what I mean. It's Estrada needs to move on and I hope move up to fight in a way.
Well, I mean, how many more fights can we get? Like they've already kind of all fought one another, right? I mean, like how many rematches and trilogies can we get out of it? We kind of already know that Estrada is the #1 super flyweight. We know that the next, from Eddie Hearn has mentioned that he's expecting a third fight with Chocolatito and Estrada. So I think that's where they're trying to go. But even if they get that out of the way, it's like, all right, what are we really going to have a third fight with fucking Soren Visay and Estrada? Like, are we going to have a third fight with Soren Visay and Chocolatito? Like, how many of these? I can only do so many of the same fights.
The only way Estrada needs to be smart here because he's not going to have this moment ever again. And I believe we gave the same advice to fucking Deontay Wilder. He didn't follow up on it, and now he is where he's at. So let's give some advice, Lee, to Estrada. Right now, Inoue fights under ESPN. You better market yourself between ESPN and DAZN, right? Because DAZN has everything else. They have Gonzalez, they have Sorangan Vinsai, they have all the other players. Estrada cannot just give in to Eddie Hearn's demands here. I would fish my name around. I would make Eddie match whatever ESPN was going to give me to fight their monster in a big fight. Possibly, you guys, I don't know, man. I'm just saying possibly a pay-per-view ESPN card with the top rank behind it. I think they could even make Inoue Estrada a pay-per-view fight.
Yeah, $39.95. I'd pay for that as long as it's not $50.
Yep.
Moving forward. Good job, guys. I knew that would fire you up. Update talking about Inoue.
Oh.
Inoue is returning on June 19th. The monster and the baddest bantamweight out there / lightweight on the planet, Naoya Inoue, will defend all of his belts against IBF #1 contender Michael Desmirnas, a Southpaw Filipino in Las Vegas on June 19th. Okay, so he's coming back to Vegas in June We should have probably some attendance on some level. I'm not exactly sure why we're flying his ass in for a no-name IBF contender. I start with you, Miguel. Is it time to bring him back to the States for Bob to squeeze a little Vegas time out of him?
I mean, I'm not sure how much longer they're planning to use the bubble because the UFC is already kind of on the way out. That their Yaz Island, Fight Island bubble, they're no longer going to be using because now they're starting to get arenas and whatnot. So that being the case, I'm not sure he necessarily needs to bring him to Vegas. Because we may have crowds and fans and whatnot in arenas elsewhere that isn't necessarily Vegas. We'd welcome him, of course. I am in Vegas myself, so I would love to see him here. But I'm not sure if they're planning to do this fight in the bubble or not. If not, I don't see the point of bringing him here other than trying to bring some more money to Vegas because the Japanese fans, like, they will follow their fighters everywhere. So if there's a way that they can get fans here in Vegas already, which I don't think they can, but this is June 19th. This fight, there's a possibility we'll have fans by then. Bringing some Japanese fans to Vegas, it's not a bad idea. But I mean, that would be the only way I think it would make sense to bring him to Vegas and not use the bubble.
Miguel, I mean Andrew.
I seen a story hit this week on my feed about Vegas is itching to open. You've got other states that are opening up. You see numbers are declining. No one's talking about, it spiked again because we opened up at this percentage or red tier, purple tier, whatever it is. Vegas is like a light switch, man. When they open up, give it 2 weeks and everything will be back to normal on travel and they're just ready. Everybody's ready. Inoue is going to be an overseas star. I know Bob has the same dreams of Manny Pacquiao with Inoue or Inoue with Pacquiao. All right, that's what he sees there. That's why the guy's fighting in Vegas. They're going to make him big. They want all those millionaires, all those big gamblers to come over here to Vegas and spend their money. That's what this is all about. They'll overpay Inoue right now to get that moment 2-3 years down the line if that's what it takes.
Moving forward, it is time to talk about this weekend's fights. Apparently, I am and Miguel are the crazy ones who decided to watch most of the fight card. Before we talk about Wardley stopping Molina, which is it's Eddie Hearn's version of the real Big Baby Miller.
There you go. Comparison. Yes, sir.
Let's start with Ricky Hatton's son making his debut. By the way, got no press on any of the sites about this kid making his debut, while the English broadcast, the DAZN broadcast, literally jizzed goo all over the fucking. Oh my God, he looks just like his dad. Look,
yeah, he's a carbon copy. He's a carbon copy. It's like, all right,
Lord,
get it.
Could they come any harder on their fucking microphones? I mean, literally, it was shot after shot into the microphone. By the way, good multiple shots on goal. Shout out to the guys over at DAZN and the English broadcast team for literally jacking off and firing out so many Ricky Hatton. Look, I don't want to break it to anybody. Ricky Hatton's claim to fame was getting beat up by bigger names. I don't know why we're jizzing about Ricky Hatton. Maybe it was a thing in England, but when he got here to the States, he was a punked out bitch who got beat by everybody.
Yeah, they're going to respond with he took him out of his division. He didn't fight him immediately after Zhu at the 140 division. That's what they've always argued online. They're going to stick to that. He waited until Collazo. It looked like he defeated Ricky Hatton before he ever decided to fight him.
Yep. He went up to 147 and then went back down to 140 after that fight before coming back up for the money fights.
Yeah.
I'm just fascinated with it. I literally get that he's the son of somebody famous, and that's it. He's the son of somebody famous who's beloved in England. So as long as he wants that godforsaken Commonwealth title where mid-sized white guys beat the fuck out of each other, and they do. God bless the Commonwealth title.
Yes, they do. Yes,
those English guys beat the fuck out of each other for that title. Look, Ricky Hatton was a nobody. I know that's going to piss off some fight fans, but Jesus Christ, he didn't do anything when it came time in the big shows.
The Katsuya Zhu fight's one of the biggest fights they've ever put on over there. I believe that was where they were making upwards of $5 million, I want to say, on that night. Zhu might have even made more. So that was a huge night for Ricky. He knocks Zoo out. Or wait a minute. He TKOs him, correct?
Yeah. The referee steps in. So.
Yeah, so TKOs him. It's still a stoppage. It's just a huge night for Ricky and all of his fans. So he still has that on him. Remember, Lee, some put Katsuya Zoo up there as one of the greatest junior welterweights of all time. The division's young, but that's just what history has said. You know, some historians have said about the junior welterweights, and Ricky Hatton kind of retired him.
Well, don't get me wrong. I'm one of those people who believe that Kostya Tszyu was that tremendous, but I don't fucking jizz on his son going, oh my God, he fights just like his dad. I hope he comes out to Pink Floyd.
Before we get into the fight, did you guys see what Hatton said about his son?
Well, he said a few things. What?
When he said about his son's fighting ability, he said he hopes it's better than how he shags because he already gave him a grandson or a grandchild.
Wow.
Damn.
It's just perfect Hatton. It's just Ricky being Ricky.
Yes, that's why he's so loved. That's the reason. That's the reason, Lee. I've gone to like a couple of the weigh-ins. Well, in particular, when he lost to Manny Pacquiao, I went to the weigh-in for that. Dude, I fell into it. I was riding that hype train. I was like, "Fuck yeah, Ricky, we love you, man." Like that dude's just so freaking likable. God damn it! But I mean, I get what you're saying.
When I fell in love with English girls, Andrew and I were over at UNLV, and I'm like, "Fuck, English chicks are hot." I'm on board.
Yeah, in regards to his son, I mean, like, yes, he does look a lot, obviously, like his fighting style, but, you know, kind of like what we were saying earlier with, I think it was Jared Anderson, it just, you don't see the specialness in it, you know, he has that same ruggedness. It's just nothing like his jab had no like snap to it. And, you know, we probably are being too critical because he is Ricky's kid. So understandably, there's a lot of pressure on the kid and maybe he didn't perform up to, you know, what he would like himself. And I think he mentioned that after the fight. So it's still obviously very young.
By his uncle as well. I mean, it's Hatton squared. Again, can everybody take a breath? The other Hatton wasn't anybody special either. Jesus Christ.
Well, we would assume we would like. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Miguel.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, you know, that's kind of the point. You know, when you have come from a fighting family like Floyd or you know, it's the first one that comes to mind, but I'm sure there are other ones. You know, immediately you're like, well, he grew up with the damn sports. By the time he makes it to amateurs, there's like, oh shit, you see the little flashes of specialness. You're like, damn, all right. But there wasn't any of that with Hatton. So I mean, maybe we're too critical, you know, jumping the gun. It is obviously very at the beginning of his career, so maybe that's something that will develop. But to say he has like a natural knack for it because he's Ricky's son, it doesn't look like that.
I was gonna agree. I agree with that. The athletic gene is there, right? We see he's got the look. He's even got the look of the way his dad used to fight. You could tell his son probably watched a lot of tapes of his dad.
Yeah,
he throws
the body shots in particular. That's that one in particular.
Yes, and the only thing he's missing is all the natural gifts that his dad had. So that he's got to take up in the gym. I'm not counting him out yet, but he's got to learn how to plant his feet more, lay a little bit more into the left hook. You know, you heard it, you didn't feel it. There wasn't, and he landed a lot of them where you would think if he had the power, that man would have went down and stood down. He was landing some crisp shots on him. They didn't have the same effect that his dad used to lay down on people. So that's all stuff hopefully he can learn in the gym. But the look is there. The market is going to be there for him if they can get everything else in line.
I'm going to tell you the market's not going to be there for him. Here's why. I couldn't find a fucking story on the fight.
Well, you're looking in America, Lee. I'm sure over there the young man was covered, pretty good. I know there was a lot of traffic on the chat rooms about Hatton's son. So.
Yeah, I like the fact that this fight went the full 4 rounds. Like, I like the fact that he didn't, you know, sometimes young fighters, like for example, if you recall, Evander Holyfield's son, I forgot what his first name is, but they call him like Little Holy or whatever, right? Like, he took out this dude quick style. So, like, I'm sure their head is already ballooning, you know, or his head is already ballooning, like thinking like, oh yeah, I can take everybody out. I can take everybody out. And of course, the young guys, so they're going to be cocky anyway. But the fact that this fight with Hatton went 4 rounds, he's like, okay, I didn't take this dude out. I I had to work the full 4 rounds to get the victory. I like that. I like the fact that the expectations in himself, I guess, isn't like, oh, I knocked this dude out. Now I'm going to have to knock the next dude out. I'm going to have to knock the next dude out because I have all this weight on my shoulders. Like the fact that it went the full 4 rounds, I like that.
And Lee, I'm going to sound a little like Bob here. This is a little old school here, but I like the fact that I believe off of name, they had him in the first time with the Latin fighter. Now, am I correct, guys? That he was a Latin fighter, correct?
Yes. I believe he was Spanish.
From Spain,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, he was from Spain. Not the
Spaniard. The Spaniard, which they said 400 times.
I know I know they conquered, but that was.
And I know he only drove 90 minutes to the fight. They made it sound like the dude was just showing up for a paycheck.
Yeah. No. I all right. Well. Nah, not the same.
Yeah.
Moving,
and I believe Ricky or Hatton came out to like Blue Moon as well, so that was kind of nice, a little nostalgia.
Yeah, no, definitely, they're definitely playing the father card.
Yeah, and he's got plenty of examples. He's got plenty of examples. We have, we have the bad Chavez Jr. And we have the good, someone like Floyd. It's like, okay, we have these examples, and then we have somebody, simultaneously coming up like Costas' kid. So he has the examples, like what not to do, what to do. Let's see if he can make something out of it.
Which takes us to Eddie Hearn's version of Real Big Baby Miller. This dude named Wardley, who, again, as they jizzed on the microphones, and boy, did they jizz on the microphones about this dude, who's 10-0 and now 11-0. All right, let's talk about unbeaten heavyweight Fabio Wardley. Fabio. Oh, my God, Fabio. Oh, my God. This is a really good fight for him. He can't go backwards after this fight. Again, I don't want to break it because I want to believe that the English announcers, because they sound smarter, as I listened to them, I realized they were just as bad as any other DAZN announcing team and saying stupid shit just like any other DAZN announcing team. But they just sound smarter with the English accent. So let's talk about Fabio. And he fought Eric the Drummer Boy Molina, who has been a shot fighter for so long that he's a shot fighter. They talked about this like this was his big coming out party. Eric Molina? Really? This is what's going to define him? Eric Molina, the dude from Texas. Eric Molina, right? Same guy who lost to everybody, Eric Molina? That when they put his record up, it was win-loss, 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 win-loss. They actually put it on the screen. Did you see anything out of Fabio, Miguel Antonio Barragan?
Well, a little bit of perseverance. We know this dude Molina isn't exactly high quality opponent. This is kind of a slowly building up. Wardley.
Wait, Miguel. Sorry, this just breaking. Fabio cannot go backwards in his career and has to fight at this level now.
Yeah, that is breaking news. Yes.
Wait, and I need to say it one more time because they said it 27 times on the announcing. I feel like it deserves at least 2 from us. Remember, everyone, Fabio can't go backwards at this point in his career. Okay. I feel we covered it.
All right, just making sure. Yeah, so I mean, all of Molina losses were KO or TKO. So dude has never lost a decision. So we kind of figured where this one was going to go. And whatever. He's not the kind of durable type. Now I wasn't in the ring there, of course, but it didn't look like that left hook that he got caught with was exactly very hard. It just looked like he was probably there for the paycheck. So there were a couple of times where he gave Wardley a little bit of trouble to where like, okay, it looks like he had to go through a little bit of toughness in this one here. Wardley had to persevere some shots. It wasn't anything that was super spectacular per se. We knew why Molina was in there, and we knew that it was going to be a relatively easy fight for Wardley. But I mean, yeah, what can we say? We know it was an opponent, literally just an opponent.
Here's my question, Miguel, because I was watching it on VIPfrontrow.net. Visit VIPfrontrow.net. Was it the English announcers on the regular DAZN telecast?
Well, I have the zone, so it was the actual one.
It was. Yeah. Was it the English guys or was it the one guy by himself?
Oh, no, it was the English dudes. Oh yeah.
Am I wrong? Because you listen to the announcers about as insanely as I do. They're not as bright as I thought they were.
they certainly do sound smarter for sure.
They sound smarter.
Maybe their vocabulary is up there. I don't know, but it certainly sounds like they're smarter.
All right. Andrew Labouche, you watched this fight. Did you see anything in Fabio?
No, nothing special. Hey, listen, Molina's a step up for a young man who's only 10-0 at the time. So it's a step up for him. And Molina hopefully brought a little bit of experience into the ring, fighting all the other names, even though he lost to a lot of the guys that he fought that had names. You have, there's that for Wardley, excuse me. Besides that, no, there was really nothing else to the fight. Look, the punch was weak. I didn't watch the replay, but I heard them talking about their feet got tangled up too. There was something about knockdown. It could have been, had more to do with him being tripped. Let's hope Molina's head hit the canvas or something. I don't know. What is that? What is that movie, Lee? What's our favorite movie?
Yeah, that $1 Billion Baby. He might have got full $1 billion baby there.
Guys, head hit the canvas and concussed them or some shit. I don't know, but no, it's not. I did not see the future. No, it's not like, wow, this guy's gonna be a terror. Honestly, and you guys, Wilder and Anthony Joshua used to bring a lot more excitement when they were being brought up than what we're seeing today right now in the heavyweights.
Which brings us to our main event of the evening. The dude with the dreadlocks announcing our main event. Did they not have an English announcer, so DAZN sent Cornroll guy out there to go do the announcing?
Diamante.
Diamante. I never mind. I guess I'm nitpicking. Revenge. Dillian White stops Alexander Povetkin in 4 rounds. If you are a regular listener to Fight Net Radio, last week, I believe Andrew Labouche predicted that Alexander Povetkin would once again stop Dillian White. Miguel Antonio Barragan predicted that Povetkin would not only stop him, knock him out as well. There was literally only one member of this team who said the fight would turn out this way.
Look at Lee. Yeah, a big memory.
Got the crystal ball. Look at that.
Got a big memory.
And he said almost definitively that it would go this long. He almost had him in the first round, which would have made me a fucking genius. After the fight, Eddie Hearn did jump into the ring and handed a extra large can of KY jelly over to Dillian and said, yeah, buddy, after Tyson Fury fights Anthony Joshua a year from today or 2 years, if you still have the belt, you get the title shot.
No, hey, wait a minute. Now, that's not Eddie Hearn's fault. That's Dillian White's fault for getting his ass knocked out in his last fight. So he lost that opportunity.
Never going to get that fight. They would have given him step-aside money. They would have done something.
Don't blame Eddie Hearn. That's not Eddie Hearn's fault.
Okay, then what are we going to say about the years of hunting Deontay Wilder? This dude has been the interim champion, I think, and I could be wrong, for the last 15 years.
Lee, how many fighters would have stood around and listened to the way Eddie Hearn's father talked to him in public? How many fighters?
You mean that he should have been on the plantation picking cotton?
Yeah, or I have to respect him now. I have to call him Mr. What did he say that day?
Yeah,
like,
I have to call him Mr. White. Not in our day, we wouldn't call him that. You're right.
Oh, Dillian White brought a lot of his problems onto himself. You could tell just by sitting there and listening to the way that man talked about him in public. So I don't blame Eddie Hearn. Sometimes guys they don't stick up for themselves big enough, and I think Dillian White's one of those fighters. And so no, and then he got knocked out. Now look, it was a great fight. I'm glad for him. He got it back, and it looks like he is going to get the shot at Deontay Wilder now because Wilder is out of the picture if Fury, Joshua move on. Everybody's out. This thing, not only is it 2 fights, this thing could get carried on to 3 if the first 2 fights make enough money. Don't care who wins or how the outcome is. It's all about if it makes enough money. They will do a 3rd fight. So Wilder and Dillian White, Andy Ruiz, I mean, these are the only 3 big names I think we have. Usyk, diehard know them. I don't know if the public knows them. So yeah, these guys all might start getting to fight each other. The question is now, who's going to give them the $10 million that they want to fight each other when there's only two fighters that people really care about in the heavyweights and they're already wrapped up?
I agree. Miguel Antonio Barragan.
Well, I'm definitely glad that White got the win.
No, you weren't.
He
No, you weren't. That's not what you predicted.
He righted the wrong.
Come correct.
By that first by that first fight, which he was winning. He did draw Povetkin twice in that first fight, so we were he corrected that, right? He righted the wrong, basically. He did the Back to the Future thing. He went back to the future and corrected what he needed to do. So it's good to see him. When Eddie Hearn was talking about a potential fight with Wilder that could fill up a stadium. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe over there, possibly, but certainly not over here. It's good when that fight will come up, or when like an actual title fight. Because keep in mind, Wilder wasn't going to fight this motherfucker. He even went as far as to say he wouldn't fight him, even while he was interim champion or diamond champion or whatever. So whether or not White is going to now, turn around and be like, all right, cool, we're going to fight anyway, or just be a complete dick to Wilder and not have it. I mean, they want the payday, obviously, right? So they're probably going to say yes anyway. But nonetheless, it's actually a funny coincidence that the two heavyweight fights of the night, both in the UFC and in boxing, the guy who won the first fight ended up losing the rematch. But anyway, congratulations to White. I'm down.
Eddie Hearn and DAZN need Wyatt Wilder to be a success over in the UK. They need that fight probably more than the PBC does, because I don't know if the PBC can actually pay them. With Miguel, that fight in America doesn't fill a stadium. That fight in the UK does because of Wilder's ties to Joshua and Fury. So
would Wilder go to the UK? You think Wilder would go to the UK for that?
If we listen to the rumors, and that's all I'm listening to right now, the rumors are saying that Wilder's starting to get fed up with not being paid. That's the biggest fight for him. If Eddie Hearn and DAZN have any money left in their, in the bank account, I don't know what this pandemic has done to them financially, but if there is a market left for them, I think they would want to go for that fight. That fight does good numbers. I hear. I would think for their streaming app, DAZN, and then I think it does great numbers for Matchroom on the box office over there if it's opened up.
Which takes us to.
Oh.
Is that you, Miguel?
No.
That was weird. Takes us to our featured story. Yes, because you didn't think we had a featured story. We have a featured story. Oscar De La Hoya is coming back to boxing. You didn't think this was going to be my featured story?
No.
The 48-year-old Hall of Famer Oscar De La Hoya, who is now broke without fighters and is sad at this point, announced he is coming out of retirement. The announcement was made during a Triller press conference for Jake Paul and Ben Askren. Snoop Dogg had this to say: I keep seeing you in the ring, but I don't see you in the ring. Oscar, you're part owner of Triller Fight Club. Why don't you Snoop Dogg? I think it's that you should tell them it's you, not me. Oscar, July 3rd, I'm making my comeback. Snoop Dogg. Oh. This also reported Snoop Dogg was completely high as a kite when this happened and didn't think this was a real thing. All right, kids, let's talk about it and what this really means in English. I start with you, Andrew Labouche. Oscar De La Hoya, hey, bro, is coming back.
Yeah, no, I have no interest in this. And listen, this is what I was talking about with Triller spending money faster than they're making it. Yes, they had success with Iron Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Oscar De La Hoya fell off that stage a long time ago. I think Pacquiao is the last time he's going to fool people. There was rounds he didn't land a punch. He never won a second of that fight. He just looked done. I don't see there being an opponent right now that would make any interest other than the one and only Floyd Mayweather. We brought that up before, but I don't see that happening. Not under Triller. Floyd wouldn't do it. I don't think Floyd needs to split his money with anybody. So no, this is a total bust. I believe that Fernando Vargas calling out Oscar De La Hoya is a joke. Ike Corte, a name you haven't heard of in like 20 fucking years, I guess sent a fucking pigeon over from Africa saying he would fight him. It's not going to happen. I don't see it. And look, this is where I want to. This is my full circle on this show. It's a complete joke right now where our sport is at. I talk shit about the UFC in the beginning. Let me throw some shit on our sport itself. Right now in our news, we have Oscar De La Hoya planning to come back. We've got Tyson Holyfield fucking 3 coming on. We have, Steve Cunningham versus Frank Mir. We have video fucking YouTube stars fighting NBA stars and all. What is going on? We have the two best fighters in our sport coming on our TV saying they're not going to fight each other, and everybody's fucking okay with it. It's an absolute joke where boxing is right now. And that's why I said at the beginning that we're missing HBO badly right now. The money that HBO generated off of their subscriptions and what they were pouring into our sport for the littlest fights is hurting our sport. We're not getting the smaller fights on the zone and the PBCs and the ESPNs because they don't have the $20 million budget plus the pay-per-view budget. They might got a $20 million budget. They might have a $60 million budget, but that's the budget for the whole fucking year. That's not the budget just for their TV fights. And then, when you do pay-per-view, don't even worry about it. We got that covered. They don't have that. The zone doesn't have that outlet. So this is what the sport is missing, and this is what we have come down to. I'm not happy right now with, and maybe that's why I missed that one story. Been kind of disconnected from the sport here last few weeks with the garbage news that it has been posted here.
Miguel Antonio Barragan.
Well, for starters, just to kind of touch on what that red font is, the update. Last night after the UFC card during the post-fight press conference, reporter, I forgot who it was, asked Dana White in regards to this here because the rumor was, that they're interested in fighting a UFC fighter, and Dana White was like, "Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, no, I'm not gonna. What the fuck? Like, why are you even asking me this dumbass question? Like, I wouldn't let that shit happen. Like, no one gives a rat's ass about De La Hoya, And he's like, that's kind of the way it is right now. No one gives a rat's ass about this. He's trying, it's very sad. It's like, grasping at straws at this point, trying to get some money pumped back into Golden Boy Promotions. And he's like, well, fuck it. If no one else is going to do it, none of my stars, I just lost my biggest cash cow, let me do it my damn self, kind of the way, he's going to have to roll up his sleeves and do it himself. I mean, it's great. He's coming back, right? We want to see the Golden Boy in the ring. But at the same time, it's like, what for at this point? We understand it's a cash grab. The only person I would probably pay to see him fight would be Felix Trinidad in the rematch that we never got. But to see him fight somebody, to fight somebody like, Vargas, I mean, I guess I'd VIP box. I'd do it. Should I look it up? I'd stream it. But to pay for that, or Corte for that matter, it's like, no, Felix Trinidad, why not? I'll take that. Sure. I mean, it's the rematch we never got. So I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen. But I mean, we know it's a cash grab. We understand they're in this desperation.
Trinidad has always come out and said no to a rematch. Recently, as of maybe a year and a half ago, he fell into some financial issues himself. He was kind of begging the Puerto Rican courts. I don't know who he was begging, but he was pleading with the courts not to take all of his assets. Basically, I believe his best friend, who is his financial advisor, took him for upwards of $20 million. Maybe it was more. But he lost a lot of money. It's gone. So he might want a rematch now. Last time I seen Trinidad, I think he was helping someone on a paper route. And I'm not lying about that, but he might have just been doing it for volunteer work. But yeah, he just looked like the average guy. So if Oscar can throw a good number at him,
if Triller is willing to like fork up some cash, I'm sure that'd be some interest, as the rematch of the millennium, I guess.
Yeah, hey, Holyfield Tyson is working to Tyson versus Roy Jones made him $80 million. So shit, now who knows at this point? Once again, still think it's a little bit because we've been dying just to do something. I don't know if there was a lot of things going on a Saturday night, baseball, basketball, all the other sports are running. Everything was open. I don't know if people would be sitting at home watching Triller events with these fucking has-beens. But when you got everybody on fucking lockdown for over a year, maybe we're into throwing a few bucks at their TV. This model will not last, though. And one thing about the Dana White saying that's a joke. It is a joke. It's a joke that I've asked for a long time to stop already. What Dana White and the UFC needs to do is put up some serious fucking money and get a boxer a champion, not James Toney 15 years after winning a middleweight title or 20 years. I'm talking the legit pound for pound. Get him in the octagon. Let's do $100 million fight, winner takes all. However you guys want to, however you want to sum this thing up, and let's get this thing on. History shows that the big time boxers have asked, Klitschko's themselves have asked Dana White for millions. Tyson said, "Give me $5 million." Back in the early 2000s, they said no. The Klitschko's asked for $20 million. Pacquiao asked for money. Who was the Kermit Cintrone when he was the undefeated IBF champ? He called out Matt Sierra, who was the welterweight champ at the time for the UFC. That fight never got made. I would like that fight to get made. I'm so fucking over these average fucking stand-up fighters. And I'm not talking your ground game. I'm not talking grappling or jiu-jitsu. I'm talking their stand-up guys coming over to boxing and getting their asses handed to them. I'm over it too, Dana. So let's flip the script on them. Why don't you guys make all this money, put some real money on the table and try to get who would it be? Tyson Fury? Fucking Anthony Joshua? Get someone like that into the octagon. Let's do a heavyweight UFC fight.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. I don't think in the early 2000s they had that kind of budget because they were basically like losing money hand over fist. So I think at the time, I don't think that would make sense. Now, absolutely, it makes sense. I would be down, even for like not the top stars. Like I'd be down to see, somebody at 155 like Tony Ferguson or something against like fucking one of the Charlos. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those kind of mixed match fights. Like I don't give a fuck. I'll watch that. It's slightly circus, sideshowish, but I'll still fucking watch it. Like I would be down to see one of those fights if they can make it happen.
For the money that the boxer would be demanding. Remember, that's always been the hiccup here, right?
Yeah,
even Roy
it's always
Anderson
debated,
Silva.
Yeah.
It's the money that these boxers are demanding. That's why I always say get the best. If you get the best of the best, you pay them top dollar. You're making top dollar back. Yeah. We can get this thing settled once and for sure. Or we open up a new avenue. How do you know there wouldn't be other fighters? Fuck it. I'll risk taking a loss in the MMA world if it's going to get me another $25 million payday, and Dana White might have another big moneymaker there every once in a while. I'm not saying every freaking year we're going to buy into the circus act, but there's certain situations that could come up. For example, Inoue, right? The lightweight guy might be a potential crossover star. Japan's real big in the MMA world.
Oh, yeah.
You get what I'm seeing here? So they can work something out like this. But yeah, let's flip the script on them because I'm tired of MMA coming to boxing. It doesn't work.
Hey, everybody. Go to fight.net.radio on social media where you can join us and join in the conversation. We would love it each week. We would certainly like to hear about Oscar making a date to get paid. If you're wondering if I had already written a title for his next fight, yes, Oscar makes a date to get paid. Last time he dropped weight to get paid. This time he's making a date to get paid. Oh, and by the way, because I haven't said it enough time, I'm the only one on this show who told you to bet on Dillian Wayne.
He does it every time, Miguel. You'll big memory.
I'm sorry. Yes. Wait, Andrew, who's the most successful boxing pronunciator you know?
It's that bleeder that he's got. That bleeder's just giving him great ass memory. That's what it is.
Yes, Lee. Yeah, you know what? I can't remember when you get them wrong.
Because I delete those shows. Get it? Come correct. Those shows don't stay online. Go to fight.net.radio. However you listen to the show, share it. Get a friend to listen. Let's double this up for the week. Click subscribe, hit the like button, hit the share button. Get some more people listening. As producer Sam Navajero would say, it's not for everybody. It's for a select taste. Well, let's find some more select taste. And a shout out for our gelato provider, Sam Navajero. Of course, go to Marcus of Queensberry Market in Australia and get yourself some gelato, a vat of it, I guess, of that gooey cream-filled gelato stuff that apparently the English guys were putting out during the son of Hatton. What's his name? Hatton Jr.? I don't even know the kid's name. I just know the last name. Hatton.
What the hell is his first name?
Michael?
I don't know.
Junior?
It's
You'll
two
learn.
syllables.
His first name is Ricky Sons Hatton.
Yeah, right. So Sam Navajero has gathered up all the jizz from those guys coming on their microphones, and he's made a special gelato. Please go and request it, and that you're a fan of Fight Net Radio, and you will get a tub of the jizz gelato, available only at Queens of Marcus Berry Market. Did I cover everything now?
Yep, I think we checked everything off the list. Yep.
All right, good. Andrew, anything you'd like to end the show with?
No, I did good.
You did good? All right,
Yeah,
all right.
that's all I got, you guys. Sorry.
All right, Miguel Antonio Barragan at Fight Fiend Migs. Go and follow him for his retrospective commentary and or whatever else he's covering. What have you got?
I mean, just guys, stay safe. If you guys have the opportunity to get vaccinated, by all means, get vaccinated. And looking forward to Jamal Herring and Carl Frampton this weekend.
Sorry.
Absolutely. And definitely, guys, get your microchip. I can't stress it enough. Bill Gates needs to know where you are. Fucking anti-fucking vaxxers. Go away. Leave the country if you're an anti-vaxxer. All right? Just leave the country. Or go to Florida or go to Texas so I know where you're located. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. From a personal note from me. We will be back next week and cover the highlights of Peter Frampton against who's he fighting, Miguel?
Jamal Herring.
Great. That's all we got to look forward to, huh?
It's going to be a good fight. It's going to clear up the 130-pound division a little bit more.
and action packed. That could be a barn runner. Yeah, I like it.
All right, I'll take your word for it and maybe watch it. That'll do it for this week. We would like you to click subscribe and like, follow at FightFeedMigs, follow at fight.net.radio, and we appreciate you all for listening, and we will see you guys all next week. Thanks for listening.